Hey guys, sounding the alarm here. I just wanted to talk about some really interesting developments the past day or so. And I also wanted to address the current situation which we are in, which is obviously that we are still here. Today is September 22nd, 2018. And I've gotten a lot of people saying, "See, told you so, we're still here. You're a date setter," etc. I want to address that by saying I never claimed to know the day of the rapture. But I did say that it was a very high possibility. There's a big difference between saying I've received word from God and I'm studying the word of God to come to the conclusion as we see the day approaching, right? Because Hebrews, and let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as is the manner, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. Now, some people just say, "Oh, we don't know the day or the hour, therefore we can't know the season," and yet Paul tells us exactly the opposite. So I want to look at something extremely prophetic. And that is, let's see if I can find it. The boss ready for peace with Israel. Look at this, guys. Abbas, we are ready to negotiate with Israel if Europeans, Arabs mediate. This is huge. So if you guys have been following anything recently, Trump has been putting some serious pressure on the Palestinian people. He's essentially revoked all of their funding, hundreds of millions of dollars, and the Palestinians are not doing too well to begin with, and we keep giving them aid. Well, now Trump has said, no more aid. That's it. You don't come to the table. We're cutting your aid. And what do you know? It took about a month for this. The boss, we are ready to negotiate with Israel. Now, I've been saying for the past 6 months that on or around the 70th anniversary of Israel, that we would see this peace treaty come to fruition. Then after the 70th anniversary of Israel came, I said, well, maybe something will happen towards the end of the Jubilee where somehow Abbas changes his mind. I'm not a prophet or anything. I just look at what the Word of God says, where we're to know what happens next. That's what the whole point of prophecy is that we can know what's going to happen next, and we can know that when it comes to pass that the Lord is the one who made that occur. And we can know that the Lord is our God, and He's in control. So, yeah, guys, I just kind of wanted to show you this because I really do believe that this peace treaty is the covenant with many. And whenever this thing gets confirmed, and that means to strengthen, to make better. So not when it's signed, but somehow it's going to get signed, and then someone's going to come along, and he's going to strengthen the deal, sweeten the deal, maybe by adding in the third temple, something to that effect. We don't know; it's just speculation. But I do believe that this is the Daniel 9 covenant with many. Now, if you're not familiar with this, you need to listen to my previous videos. I've talked about this several times. But I believe that this prophecy could be a dual fulfillment prophecy. 25 specifically. So it says, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the command to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Messiah the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublesome times. So if we do simple calculation, a week is a period of 7 years in prophecy, right? So it says 7 weeks, 49, and 62 weeks. So 62 times 7 years, 434, you add them together, 483. So this is a prophecy of 483 years from this decree going forth the commandment to rebuild Jerusalem. So if we Google walls of Jerusalem, like before that, hold on, go back to this. Now, I believe that this was fulfilled by Jesus Christ from 457 BC up until the time that Christ rode in on the donkey was 483 years exactly, and that fulfilled this prophecy. Well, what if this was a dual fulfillment prophecy? And I've gone over this in my previous videos in more detail. But, so if you just Google this walls of Jerusalem, right? Walls of Jerusalem. You can find that in 1535 AD, when Jerusalem was part of the Ottoman Empire, Sultan Suleiman I ordered the ruined city walls to be rebuilt. It is also interesting to note that this Sultan Suleiman I also sealed the eastern gate of Jerusalem, which is a separate prophecy that the gate would be sealed until the time of the end. So that gives credence to this decree to rebuild Jerusalem, right? Well, if you add, you go 1535, you add the 483-year prophecy, you get 2018. Now, upon doing some further research on this, it also seems that this could be 1536. So what does this mean? So 2018 or maybe 2019, I'll show you that in a second. But if this is until the Messiah, the Messiah comes at the end of the tribulation, and if you're a pre-trib believer, then before the tribulation. So this could be saying that Christ returns for his church in 2018, possibly, right? And let's look at this. So I found this article where it says that Suleiman issued a decree in 1536 to rebuild the wall. So it says, however, nobody has been able to determine the exact date of this decree. So isn't that interesting? So we don't know the exact timing of when this decree was made. Now maybe if we did, we would know the exact day. I don't know. That's just a theory. But so 1535 is 2018 when you add the 483 years, but 1536 would be 2019. Now we also know that 5778, well, people say that it ended already, but that's on the civil calendar. Now there's two theories. The spiritual new year doesn't actually start until Nisan 1 of 2019, which is April 7th, 2019. This is the very last day that we could be considered to be inside of the year 5778, that Hebrew year that we're in right now. So, theory is that before this time, there's a convergence of events, because 5778 is the year to look for when it comes to prophecy. Everything points to 5778, I mean, including the temperature of the sun, 5778 Kelvin. I mean, signs of the sun, the moon, and the stars. This is definitely a sign in the sun. What is the current Hebrew show you. Wow, really? 5778. Thank you. Here we go. We're in the year 5778. And many people believe that it ended on September 18th. But if you haven't seen Scotty Clark's video, I highly suggest watching it, because it tells us that maybe the fall feasts have not begun yet.
So we've learned that God has created a calendar in the heavens, and He's using the sun, the moon, the stars to create a calendar, basically. And I've created a chart here to graphically illustrate as simply as possible how God has He uses the sun and the moon as well, from our perspective, to cut the year into 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. We have 12 months inside of the year. That gives each of the 4 quarters 3 months each. Works the one day that it does take place in 2018. Today, the sun is in Leo in the summertime. If we move forward by the days, right here, this day, September 23rd, is the day that the sun passes the 180-degree ecliptic grid line, and it's now the autumn. We continue, and we wait for the moon to appear. Here it comes from the right. Here's the moon. October 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's the Feast of Trumpets in 2018.
So, yeah, guys, I kind of just wanted to show you, and this is not just one article, but there's lots of them. They're coming out all over the place now. Palestine ready to enter peace talks with Israel. So, this is what we've been waiting for, and this seems to be the covenant with many. We're at the 70th year of Israel. Psalm 90:10 talks about the generation being 70 to 80 years. And we know that that has to be 80 years at this point because, well, we're still here. Well, I guess it's possible it could still be 70 years, but in Matthew 24 it talks about that all of these things will take place before that last generation dies, passes away, right? So if all the things talked about in Matthew 24 have to take place, that means that the tribulation period needs to be fit into that generation. So the generation being 80 years would be 80 plus 1948 plus 1948. Then you subtract the 7-year generation, 2021. Seems to be the last possible time that the tribulation can begin. But it seems like it's going to be a lot sooner than that because of things like this. I mean, this is very prophetic, guys. So, yeah, just wanted to get this out there. This is massively significant. And he's going to speak at the UN, I think, next Thursday. We'll see if, because of the current mindset of a boss, maybe Jared Kushner and Trump decide to push their peace plan forward and actually talk on the 25th. I don't know. We'll see. It could be very interesting. So we're looking at October time frame. Is very, very high watch. We're looking at all of September, and we're looking all the way until, like, you know, essentially summer of 2019. But I think we could very well be out of here before then. So keep looking up, guys. Bottom line, we know we're very close, and it's a process of elimination. Time is ticking down, and even if the generation is 80 years, that's still not a long time to wait. We're only talking 3 years at seemingly the absolute max. But everything's happening now, not 3 years from now. So keep looking up, guys. Sound the alarm out.